It all started with a stupid dare. I wasn't drunk. Maybe just a little. But mostly, I was bored. The restaurant was loud that night, laughter, music, people talking too much. My friends and I were celebrating Mark's birthday, and after a few drinks, every idea started to sound fun. That's when he said it. "Ethan, if you lose, you have to kiss the first girl I point at." I laughed. "What are we, 12?" He smirked. "Scared?" And that's how I ended up in this mess. We were playing a silly game, guessing songs. I was sure I'd win. I didn't. The moment I lost, Mark raised his glass and pointed across the room. "There," he said. "Her." I followed his finger and froze. She was sitting by the window. Long dark hair, light dress, calm face. She wasn't laughing like everyone else, she was reading something on her phone, her expression soft and focused. She looked like she belonged in a different world, not this noisy restaurant. I shook my head. No way. She's too classy for this. Mark grinned. "A deal's a deal." My other friends started chanting. "Do it. Do it." I wanted to crawl under the table. But something in me, pride, maybe, said, "Don't back down." So I stood up, trying to look confident while my heart was doing backflips. As I walked toward her, the noise behind me faded. My hands were shaking. She didn't even notice me until I was right in front of her table. "Hi," I said, my voice barely steady. She looked up, surprised. Her eyes were brighter than I expected, a deep, curious kind of brown. "Yes?" she asked. I smiled awkwardly. "I lost a bet." Before I could think twice, before she could react, I leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't long, maybe a second or two. But it felt like time stopped. The entire restaurant went silent. I pulled away, realizing what I had just done. She blinked, stunned. "What was that?" I took a step back, my face burning. I'm so sorry. It was a dare. I didn't mean to." Then came the sound, laughter. My friends cheering, some people clapping, phones recording. I wanted to disappear. She didn't yell. Didn't slap me. She just looked at me, confused, a little amused, but not angry. That almost made it worse. "It's fine," she said finally, her tone calm but distant. "Just, maybe don't do that again." "I promise," I said quickly. "I'm really sorry." She gave a small nod, then went back to her phone like she wanted to erase the moment. I walked back to my table, red as fire. My friends were laughing so hard they could barely breathe. "Dude, you actually did it. I can't believe it." I tried to laugh too, but inside, I just felt stupid. I didn't even know her name. All I had was the image of her eyes, the way they looked right before I kissed her. Later that night, I was scrolling through my phone, trying to forget everything. That's when I saw it. A post. Her post. "A stranger kissed me in public tonight." I didn't know whether to be shocked or laugh. Maybe both. My heart dropped. She had a photo, not from me, but from someone else in the restaurant. You could see everything, me leaning in, her looking surprised. The caption ended with, "To the mystery guy, next time, try hello first." And the craziest part? The post was blowing up. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. People arguing, joking, guessing who I was. "She looks like Luna Ray," someone commented. "She is Luna Ray," another replied. I clicked her profile. That's when I realized who she was, Luna Ray, one of the most famous lifestyle vloggers on the internet. Millions of followers. I had just kissed a celebrity. I dropped my phone. "Oh no," I whispered. Mark texted me a minute later. Bro, you're trending. He was right. Someone had tagged the photo with #thekissguy. My face was everywhere, memes, edits, even reaction videos. Everyone was talking about the random guy who kissed Luna Ray. Some called it romantic, others creepy. I didn't know which hurt more. I tried to message her, just to say sorry again, but her DMs were closed. Of course they were. She was famous. She probably didn't even remember my name. The next day, reporters were waiting outside my workplace. My boss wasn't happy. My mom called, panicking. Ethan, what did you do? I saw you on the news. I wanted to hide forever. That night, I sat on my couch, scrolling through all the chaos online. Everywhere I looked, there she was. Her smile, her voice, her name. Luna Ray. And somewhere between the guilt and the noise, a strange thought hit me. I wanted to see her again. Not to fix my reputation. Not to go viral again. Just, to talk to her. To say, hello, properly this time. But how do you meet someone who lives in a completely different world? I didn't have the answer. All I knew was that something about her stayed in my mind, the calm way she looked at me, the soft way she spoke. I couldn't shake it off. Maybe it was guilt. Or maybe, it was something else. That night, I couldn't sleep. My phone buzzed non-stop with notifications. Another post from Luna appeared. It was a story, her voice, light and teasing. So, about that kiss. Internet, relax. I'm fine. It was unexpected, sure, but kind of funny. Don't try this at home though, consent is important. Anyway, mystery guy, if you're watching this, I hope you learned your lesson. I stared at the screen. Her voice made me smile even while I felt terrible. She was so composed, so kind about something that could have gone really bad. She didn't humiliate me, didn't rage online. She just moved on. Gracefully. But I couldn't move on. That's when I decided, I had to find her. Not to go viral, not to explain myself to the world, but to explain myself to her. To tell her that I wasn't that guy. That there was more to me than one stupid dare. It sounded crazy. But maybe the craziest things are the ones worth trying. The next few days were a blur. Every time I opened my phone, there she was. Luna Ray. My accidental moment turned into her top trending video. Everyone was talking about the restaurant kiss. Some people called it sweet. Others said I was crazy. And somewhere between all that noise, I just felt lost. I didn't even want to go outside. Every time I did, someone pointed. Hey, it's the kiss guy. They said it like it was funny, but it wasn't. I wasn't proud of it. Not anymore. I wanted to tell her that. So I tried. I searched her name on every platform. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I watched her videos. Her world looked perfect, bright lights, coffee shops, soft music, and that smile that seemed to make everyone happy. I typed a message. Hey Luna. It's me, the guy from the restaurant. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Then I deleted it. Then I typed it again. Then I deleted it again. Because what would she think? Another random guy trying to get attention. Finally, I sent it. And then waited. Nothing. Hours passed. Days. Still nothing. One evening, I was watching her live stream. I didn't even plan to. I just saw it pop up, Luna Live, Q&A time. Thousands of people were watching. She sat on her couch, hair tied up, laughing, drinking tea. Someone in the chat asked. Do you still remember the guy who kissed you? She laughed, that light, musical laugh I'd already memorized. "Oh, that guy," she said. "Yeah, I remember. Poor thing probably regrets it every day." People spammed the comments, "Find him. Marry him. He's probably watching." And she smiled, looked right at the camera. "If he's watching, don't worry, stranger. I'm not mad. But next time, use your words, okay?" I froze. Was she talking to me? It felt like she was. I typed in the chat, "I'm sorry, Luna." But the comments were moving too fast. Mine disappeared in seconds. That's when I decided, I had to meet her in person. Somehow. 2 weeks later, I saw a post on her page. "Meet and greet this Saturday at Bloom Cafe." It was close. Just a few miles away. My heart started racing. This was my chance. Saturday came too fast. I barely slept. I changed shirts 3 times, couldn't decide if I looked like a normal guy or a stalker. When I finally walked into Bloom Cafe, my hands were sweating. The place was crowded, fans everywhere, cameras flashing. She was there, behind a small table, greeting people one by one. Smiling. Taking photos. Signing things. And when it was finally my turn, she looked up, and froze. Her eyes widened just for a second. Then she smiled politely. "Next, please." I stepped forward. "Hi." She tilted her head. "I know you." "Yeah," I said quietly. "From the restaurant." She sighed softly. "You've caused me a lot of notifications, you know." "I'm sorry," I said again. "Really. I didn't want to make trouble for you." Her tone wasn't angry, just guarded. "You didn't think, that's all." "I didn't," I admitted. "It was stupid. I've been trying to tell you that." Something in my voice must have sounded honest, because she looked at me longer than before. "You came all the way here to say sorry?" "Yeah," I said. "In person this time. No cameras." She smiled, just a little. "That's actually nice." People behind me were whispering. Some started filming again. She noticed, glanced around, and leaned closer. "Do you want to get out of here for a minute?" she asked quietly. I blinked. "What?" "Just to talk. Away from this chaos." I nodded fast. We slipped out the back door into a quiet alley behind the cafe. It was strange, the world suddenly went silent. Only the sound of traffic far away. She crossed her arms, watching me. "So, Ethan, right?" "Yeah," I said. "You even know my name." She smirked. "The internet made sure I did." I laughed nervously. "Great. So now I'm officially famous for being an idiot." She smiled. "Not famous. Just, memorable." We both laughed then, the kind of small, nervous laugh you share with someone you barely know but somehow feel connected to. "I just wanted to say sorry," I repeated. "Not for the post, not for the trend. Just for, crossing a line." She nodded slowly. "You were lucky I didn't get angry." "I know," I said. "You handled it better than anyone could." She looked at me for a long moment, like she was trying to read me. Then she said, "You seem different from how people online describe you." "How do they describe me?" "Bold. Reckless. Maybe charming." I grinned. 2 out of 3 are lies. She smiled back, but then shook her head. "Listen, I appreciate that you came here. Really. But I can't turn this into something more. I live in a crazy world, and I don't mix real life with internet stories." "I understand," I said. "I didn't come for that." She looked doubtful. "Then why did you come?" I hesitated. Because I couldn't tell her that she'd been living rent-free in my head since that night. That every time I saw her smile online, something in me wanted to know the real her, the person behind the filters. I guess, I said finally, I came because I didn't want our first meeting to be a mistake. Her expression softened, but only for a moment. That's a nice line, she said. Are you always this poetic? Only when I panic, I said, and she laughed again. It was small, but real. She checked her phone. I should go back. My team's waiting. Right, I said. Thanks for letting me talk. She smiled. You're forgiven, Ethan. That should have been the end. But just as she turned to leave, she looked over her shoulder and added. Just, don't turn this into a story for views, okay? I nodded. I won't. Good, she said softly. Because I've had enough of people using me for clicks. And then she was gone, back through the door, back to her world. I stood there for a while, breathing in the city air, half smiling, half broken. I thought that was it. A final goodbye. But later that night, I got a notification. Someone had tagged me in a post. It was her photo, taken at the cafe, during the event. In the background, you could see me, just out of focus. The caption read. Sometimes strangers deserve a second chance. I stared at the screen for a long time. Was that just a nice caption for her fans? Or was it a message? I didn't know. But it made my heart race again, the same way it did that first night. And that's when I realized something dangerous. I wasn't just curious about her anymore. I was falling. A week passed after the cafe meeting. I tried not to think about her, but of course, I did. Every day. Every hour. Her last post, sometimes strangers deserve a second chance, was stuck in my head. Was she talking about me? Probably not. But what if she was? I didn't want to read too much into it. Still, I kept checking her profile like an idiot. Then, one night, it happened. A message. From Luna Ray. Luna, hey, Ethan. Are you up for a little project? I read it 5 times before replying. Ethan, project. Luna, yeah. My manager thinks we could make a funny video together. You know, since the internet already ships us. Ethan, you want to film with me? Luna, don't get too excited. It's just content. Ethan, sure. I'm in. Luna, tomorrow at 2. Studio 15, downtown. Don't be late. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind was spinning with every possible scenario. What if it was awkward? What if she regretted inviting me? What if I said something dumb, again? The next day, I arrived early. Studio 15 was bright and modern, white walls, plants, coffee smell. Her team was setting up lights and cameras. Then she walked in. No filters. No perfect lighting. Just her, in jeans and a simple sweater, hair tied up. And somehow, she looked even better. She saw me and smiled. You made it. Wouldn't miss it, I said, trying to sound cool but probably failing. Her producer came over. Okay, guys, today's video, the Dare guy and Luna reunite. Just fun, light, natural. Let's roll in 5. Luna looked at me. Don't overthink it, okay? Just be yourself. That's dangerous advice, I said, and she laughed softly. The cameras started rolling. We sat side by side on a couch, microphones clipped to our shirts. So, Luna, I said, trying not to look too nervous, how does it feel to meet your mystery kisser again? She smirked. Risky. I made sure there are witnesses this time. Everyone laughed. The mood relaxed. We played games, truth or dare, of course. The audience online would love that. Truth, she said, leaning toward me. Would you do it again? I blinked. Kiss a stranger? She nodded. I thought for a second, then smiled. Depends on the stranger. The crew laughed again, but she didn't. She just looked at me, quiet, curious. For a second, it felt like the world stopped, just like that night in the restaurant. Then she broke eye contact, pretending to check her notes. After filming, the crew started packing up. I stayed to help move lights, mostly because I didn't want to leave yet. She noticed. You don't have to help. I want to, I said. Feels nice to be part of something that's not a disaster. She smiled. You're not bad on camera, by the way. Natural. I learn from the best. She rolled her eyes. Please. You almost tripped over the tripod. Artistic movement, I said, and she laughed again. That laugh, it did something to me. It made everything feel lighter. When the others left, it was just the two of us. Silence, soft music playing from someone's phone. She sat on the couch again, scrolling through the footage. People are going to love this. Yeah, I said. But what if they start shipping us again? She looked up. They already do. Does that bother you? A little, she admitted. Because they don't see the real story. They just want a fairy tale. And what if the real story is better than the fairy tale? She looked at me, this time not amused, not guarded. Just real. You really think so? I do. The air between us changed. No words. Just silence, the kind that says everything. She looked away first. We should pack up. I nodded, though I didn't move. Something in me wanted to reach out, touch her hand, say something that would make her stay longer. But I didn't. Not yet. That night, the video went live. Within an hour, it exploded. Views, comments, edits. People loved it. OMG their chemistry. Just date already. Hashtag Luna then forever. I laughed at the comments, but deep down, it scared me. Because I could feel it too, the chemistry. And I didn't want her to think it was just for the cameras. Then she texted me again. Luna, good job today. The internet's going wild. Ethan, yeah, I saw. Do we tell them it's fake? Luna, maybe let them dream for a bit. Something about that message hit me hard. Fake. Was that all this was to her? I wanted to ask, is it fake for you? But I didn't. A few days later, she called. Hey, we've got another idea, she said. A day in the life video. You'll join me. My fans will love to see how we actually get along. Sure, I said. When? Tomorrow morning. Don't be late again. I smiled. Wasn't late the first time. 3 minutes, she said. Counts. The next morning, we spent the whole day together. Coffee shop, bookstore, walking by the river. Cameras followed us at first, but after a while, we forgot they were even there. She told me about her life, how being famous was exhausting, how people thought they knew her but didn't. Sometimes I wish I could disappear for a week, she said. No internet. No phone. You'd go crazy after 2 days, I said. She smiled. Maybe. But at least it would be quiet. I looked at her, the way the sunlight touched her face. You deserve quiet. She turned to me. You say nice things a lot. I mean them. That time, she didn't look away. At the end of the day, we sat by the water, eating takeout. No cameras, no noise. Just us. She sighed. It's weird. I didn't expect to actually like spending time with you. Wow, I said. Romantic. She laughed. You know what I mean. I do, I said quietly. It's weird for me too. We both looked at the river. The sky was orange, fading into pink. And then, without thinking, I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. For a few seconds, we just sat there, our hands together, the city humming in the distance. It felt right. Real. Then her phone buzzed. She looked at it, sighed, and gently pulled her hand back. "I should go," she said softly. "My manager's calling." "Right," I said, trying not to sound disappointed. She stood up, hesitated for a moment, and then said, "Don't read too much into this, okay?" "Into what?" "Any of this," she said. "It's still just content." And then she left. But as I watched her walk away, I knew she was lying, to me, and to herself. Because if it was just content, then why did she look back 3 times? I smiled to myself, feeling both happy and heartbroken. Because for the first time, I knew the truth. I wasn't just the guy from the Dare anymore. I was the guy who fell for her, for real. The internet didn't stop talking about us. Every video we posted together went viral. People made edits, fan pages, even fake wedding posters. #Luna then was everywhere. At first, it was fun. We laughed about it. But then things changed. Luna started getting calls from sponsors, interviews, brand deals. Her manager loved the romantic storyline. And me? I was just the guy who kissed her once. Still, everyone wanted to hear my side too. Podcasts, magazines, morning shows, they all called me. At first, I said no. Then one channel offered money, a lot of it. I didn't plan to say anything bad. I just wanted to tell my story. But the media never tells the truth. The next day, the headline was everywhere. "Ethan says he used Luna's fame to get popular." My heart dropped when I saw it. I never said that. Not even close. But they twisted my words, cut the video, made it sound like I was bragging. Luna didn't call me. She didn't text. She just posted a short message on her story. It's sad when people pretend to be real for the camera. It felt like a punch to the chest. I called her again and again. No answer. When I went to her studio, the guard said she wasn't taking visitors. A few days later, I saw her video, my side of the story. She looked calm, but her eyes were cold. "I don't hate him," she said. "But I can't support someone who used me for clicks. I thought we had something real. Guess I was wrong." My phone blew up with messages. "Bro, what did you do? Luna roasted you. Man, you're finished." I didn't answer anyone. I just sat in my apartment, staring at the screen, trying not to break something. I watched her video again and again, trying to understand how we got here. Every smile, every joke, every look, all of it suddenly looked fake through the camera. Maybe it always was. Maybe I imagined everything. But then I remembered that moment by the river, her hand in mine. That wasn't fake. I knew it wasn't. So why didn't she believe me? For the next few weeks, I disappeared. Deleted my accounts. Stopped posting. People forgot fast, they always do. The internet moved on to the next scandal, the next couple, the next story. But I couldn't move on. Every night, I replayed everything in my head. The restaurant. The first message. The laugh in the studio. And that one look, the one that made me think she might actually feel the same. I thought maybe time would fix it. It didn't. It only made the silence louder. One evening, Mark, my friend who started this whole thing, came over with pizza. "Dude, you look like you haven't slept in a month." "I haven't," I said. He sat down, looked at me for a minute, then said, "You still like her, don't you?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He sighed. "Then do something about it." She hates me. Then show her she's wrong. How? Mark pulled out his phone. She's speaking at the Social Creators Expo tomorrow. Big event, live stream, tons of media. If you want her to hear you, that's your chance. I frowned. You think I should just walk up there? In front of everyone? He grinned. You started this whole mess in public. Maybe that's how you fix it. I couldn't sleep that night. Again. I kept thinking about what I'd say, how to explain that I never wanted fame, that all I wanted was her. By morning, I'd made up my mind. The event hall was packed. Cameras everywhere. Banners, lights, the smell of coffee and perfume. Luna was on stage, sitting with other speakers, smiling politely. She looked perfect, calm, confident, untouchable. I stood in the back, heart racing. My palms were sweaty. My throat was dry. The moderator asked her a question. How do you deal with fake people in the industry? She smiled faintly. You just learn to see through them. Something in her tone hurt more than I expected. I took a deep breath. And before I could stop myself, I started walking toward the stage. People turned. Cameras followed. I heard whispers, "It's the Kiss guy. Oh my God, is this real?" Security moved, but Luna raised her hand slightly. It's okay, she said. Let him speak. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were unreadable. I stepped up onto the stage, took the microphone. My hands were shaking. Hi, I said softly. I'm Ethan. You probably remember me as the idiot who kissed Luna Ray. Some people laughed. She didn't. I didn't come here to get attention, I continued. I came because I ruined something that meant a lot to me. Not just a friendship, something real. And I never used you, Luna. Not for clicks, not for fame. The interview that went viral, they twisted my words. I should have known better. I should have protected you from that. The room was silent. I know I don't deserve your trust, I said, my voice shaking. But I just needed you to know the truth, not through the internet, not through headlines, but from me. I looked at her. She looked back, no expression, no words. Just quiet. Then she stood up. Everyone held their breath. She took the mic and said, you know, I didn't plan to see you again. I was angry. Hurt. I thought you were just another guy chasing views. She paused. But seeing you here, saying this, in front of everyone, maybe I was wrong. Her voice softened. You still shouldn't have kissed me that night. I smiled weakly. Yeah, I've learned that. A few people chuckled. She looked down, thinking. Then she asked quietly, so, what do you want now, Ethan? I took a step closer. Just a real beginning, I said. No cameras. No dares. Just, hello. The crowd went silent again. She stared at me for a long time, the kind of look that decides everything. Then she smiled, the same real, gentle smile I'd seen that first night. Hello, Ethan, she said. The crowd erupted, clapping, cheering, phones flashing. But for once, I didn't care about any of that. All I saw was her. That night, social media exploded again, hashtag the Kiss Guy returns, hashtag Luna and Ethan, millions of views. But I didn't even check my phone. We were sitting on the steps outside the venue, just talking, laughing quietly. No cameras, no lights, no followers. Just two people trying to start over. We sat on the stone steps outside the event hall long after everyone left. The night air was cool, and the city lights glowed in the distance. No cameras. No noise. Just silence, the kind that finally felt peaceful. Luna pulled her jacket tighter around her shoulders. You really showed up today, she said softly. I smiled. Yeah. I thought you deserved the truth. She looked at me, half smiling. You know, you could have just sent a message. I chuckled. Yeah, but then I wouldn't have embarrassed myself in front of 1,000 people. She laughed, the sound I'd missed for weeks. For a moment, it felt like everything between us was back to how it used to be. Almost. Then she looked down, tracing circles on the step with her shoe. I was really angry, Ethan. Not just because of the video. But because I actually cared. That word, cared, hit me hard. I leaned forward. You did? She nodded, not looking at me. Yeah. And I didn't know how to handle it. Everyone around me said it was just a trend, a phase. That I should stay away before it ruined my image. Your image, I repeated quietly. Not your heart. She finally looked up, her eyes soft. Exactly. We sat in silence again. Somewhere in the distance, a street musician played a slow song on the guitar. The sound floated through the night like something out of a movie. I took a deep breath. Luna, when I kissed you that first night, it wasn't romantic. It was stupid. I didn't even know your name. But everything that happened after, that was real to me. Every laugh, every message, every quiet moment when the camera stopped. Her eyes searched mine. Even after everything. Especially after everything, I said. Because that's when I realized what it really meant. She smiled sadly. You're a strange guy, Ethan. I get that a lot. She laughed softly, shaking her head. Then her face grew serious again. You know, I built my whole life online. Every part of me is edited, polished, filtered. But when I was with you, I didn't have to be Luna Ray, the influencer. I could just be Luna. That's all I ever wanted, I said. Just you. Not the internet's version. The song from the street musician got louder, drifting closer. People were passing by, some recognizing her, whispering, taking photos. But she didn't care. She looked only at me. I don't know where this goes, she said quietly. You and me. I don't even know if it's smart. Maybe it's not, I admitted. But the best things never are. She laughed again, that small, warm laugh. You really should write quotes for coffee mugs. Only if yours is the first one I sign. She rolled her eyes but smiled anyway. Then, for a moment, everything slowed down. The world faded. The lights, the noise, the whispers, all of it disappeared. She leaned a little closer. I could see the reflection of the city in her eyes. You know, she whispered, the first time you kissed me, it was chaos. I smiled. Yeah, I remember. What about this time? This time, I said softly, it's a choice. She looked at me for a heartbeat, then closed the distance. The kiss was soft. Real. Not a dare, not a game. Just two people who finally understood each other. And when we pulled away, she was smiling. Now, she said, that's how you start a story properly. Later, we walked down the street together. People stared, some took pictures, but we didn't care anymore. The world could say whatever it wanted, we knew what was real. At one point, she looked up at the night sky and said, you know, it's kind of funny. The internet gave me a stranger, and somehow, that stranger became my favorite person. I smiled. Careful. People might quote you for mugs now. She nudged me playfully. You started it. Over the next weeks, we didn't post anything. No updates, no vlogs, no pictures. And the internet went wild with rumors. Are they together? Did they break up? But we just lived. Quietly. Coffee in the morning. Walks by the river. Laughing about random things. Real life, no hashtags. One night, she asked, "Do you miss it? The attention?" I shook my head. "Not even a little." "Good," she said. "Because for the first time, I don't either." Months later, she posted again. Just one photo. It wasn't fancy, just us sitting on those same steps, eating pizza, laughing like idiots. The caption read, "Some stories start with a dare, and end with a decision." It didn't break the internet. It didn't need to. It was quiet. Honest. And that's how I knew it was real. Sometimes people ask how we met. I usually laugh and say, badly. But deep down, I know the truth. We didn't meet by chance. We met by chaos, and maybe that's the most human kind of love there is. Not perfect. Not planned. Just real. And every time I see her now, hair messy, coffee in hand, laughing at something dumb I said, I remember that night in the restaurant. The noise, the lights, the moment that started everything. I used to think that kiss was a mistake. Now I know it was the best mistake of my life.